This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. Here today, Sandra Smith, Andrea Tanteros, political commentator and national spokesperson for the LIBRE Initiative, Rachel Campos-Duffy, and today's hashtag One Lucky Guy, senior correspondent for the Fox Business Network. He salutes to us, Charlie Gasparino, and he's outnumbered. Good to have you.
Back for more abuse.
Oh, stop.
Charlie.
I love it.
You do love to fight. Every time I see you, Charlie, you're fighting with someone on Twitter. Why are you always fighting?
Well, you know, I don't like bullies. And there's these morons on Twitter, these trolls that, you know, just touch stuff off of me. And I do what comes natural.
You just don't know how you feel because you won't express yourself.
I mean, they're just horrible. You know, people on Twitter say stuff they would never say face to face. I find that like
true.
That is just so horrible. It's just such a bad part of our society. And you know, unfortunately, my temper, I feed into it because I attack back, and then you read about it.
I mean, you're losing your voice, Charlie. You got to calm down.
Now, this is because I'm a reporter. And I'm on the phone constantly. So.
Asking big questions?
Yes, right.
All right, well, let's get to the big news. New questions, in fact, about President Obama's strategy to defeat ISIS, as those terrorists now control more than half the country of Syria. We could see this coming for days, weeks, months. They've taken full control of the ancient town of Palmyra, home to priceless historic ruins. Those savages have control of important roadways and towns. Bottom line, ISIS has reportedly seized more than 36,000 square miles of Syria. And it's taken the vast majority of the country's gas and oil fields with it. Earlier on Fox, General Jack Keane, who helped devise the surge strategy that turned the tide for us in the Iraq War, says the White House needs to face the facts about ISIS and revise a strategy which he says the American people can see is not working.
We have to develop a strategy to defeat ISIS in Syria for the reasons I just stated, and it is a sanctuary, and you can't succeed in Iraq if we're going to permit them to keep that sanctuary in Syria. That involves some kind of ground force ultimately driven by an Arab coalition, which would likely ask for our participation, and I think we should grant it.
All right, let's bring it out to the couch to you first, Charlie, about the strategy.
Well, it's a horrendous strategy, but I will say this.
Do you know what it is?
No, none of us do, but here's what it is. It's called public opinion. Where is the public outrage that ISIS is controlling vast parts of the Middle East? Where is it? It doesn't exist. And I think what President Obama is simply saying is this. The American people look at this as a sectarian conflict. It's none of our business, and we don't want to be part of it. And I think what he's doing, whether you like it or not, you know, and I respect the general very much. I understand that, you know, it's a desperate situation over there, but the American people do not want us to get involved in another war between you know, factions that have been hating each other for 10 gazillion years.
What about the argument that we're already involved?
Well,
we are because we spent so much blood and treasure in Iraq already.
The American people hate it.
And now we've ceded everything that we fought for back to a different set of savages.
That's kind of what public opinion says is right. Now, here's the dichotomy here is like, is the public opinion right? I mean, does the president have to get up there and make the case that we should be there? We should point out that I guess the American public did not want us to be in Afghanistan. And then you know what happened during 9/11.
I want to go to you, Andrea, on this, though, because I know that in some ways you support the president because you agree with Charlie. I've heard you say it, that maybe we don't step in there. But here's what's different. They're begging for our help now with Palmyra, and I said it on this very couch last week. Ancient ruins, Roman era. They're wiping away swaths of civilization, our footprints of civilization now.
It is tragic, and there's a lot of countries that beg for our help. But to Charlie's point, I do agree with the sentiment of the American people, specifically because of the leadership that we have in power. I mean, Harris, you mentioned, aren't we involved in some level? Well, it's kind of like the foreign policy hokey pokey, right? The left foot in, take it out, then the right foot in. That's what we've been doing in Syria specifically. I mean, we encouraged Bashar Assad to step aside. Remember, we drew that red line. We didn't enforce it. We get involved, Harris, and I think we exacerbate these situations. You know how I feel? I don't think Assad, even though he's a bad guy, is a threat to the United States. We have a common enemy in ISIS. I do think the horse has left the barn on Syria, and I don't think that we should be sending American troops and boots on the ground to fight a sectarian war that's been going on for hundreds of thousands of years and give weapons that could end up in the hands of our enemies, which we've seen many times before.
The CIA used to do it pretty smartly. They used to execute people. maybe that's what we need to do. I mean, you know, the CIA used to, do covert wars. I mean,
we
that's
have
just smart.
special ops that are going in and taking people
There
out.
are people on the ground right now. We talked about it yesterday. There's right now a sheikh from Ramadi, a Sunni, on the Hill right now. He's been begging for the administration to, they want to fight. They're not asking for boots on the ground from America. They're saying, give us the weapons, stop routing them through Baghdad where they serve the interests of Iran and those Shia-backed militias. So it doesn't have to necessarily
be. But there's Syrian boots on the ground. There is a Syrian army, not the Free Syrian Army, but the Syrian army controlled by Assad. Those are actual boots on the ground.
And I wouldn't underestimate one of the things you led into this story with, in addition to just accessing and gaining more territory, ISIS now controlling these oil fields. You said it, a vast majority of the gas and oil fields. All along, Harris, this is how they have been gaining strength. This is how they've been able to continue to operate, so that in this takeover of this territory, they've gained access to that. They've taken control of the water company on the outskirts. That too continues to strengthen and embolden this group. And by the way, the archaeological site the UN describes as one of the most important cultural centers of the ancient world. I mean,
Palmyra. So here's my question.
The real question is, where's the tipping point?
No, here's another question.
Where they become Al-Qaeda pre-9/11, where's that tipping point?
If they have half of Syria, what happens to the half that Bashar al-Assad is in? What happens when they get to that half?
So here, my response to you, Charlie, saying that the Americans feel like it's a problem over there and not a problem here, this might convince you otherwise. Back here at home, ISIS recruitment efforts apparently so successful, the FBI is now visiting U.S. high schools to warn kids about the threat. Earlier this week, agents met with teens at a New Jersey high school to tell them about sophisticated recruitment videos and other tactics trying to lure them into the terror group. One video featuring a young Canadian man who tells viewers there's a role for everybody in ISIS. Meantime, a self-proclaimed former jihadist spoke to Greta about why young people are drawn to the terror group.
What these people do is they spin it to say that our cause is the just cause, and I want you to be a part of it. And for you to have an internal memory, here you're a nobody, 14, 15, 20, 25-year-old nobody. Suddenly you become, from zero, you become a hero overnight.
Is he right, Charlie? Is he
What would your parents say if you brought home George from ISIS?
Where are you going with this, Charlie?
Listen, I will say this. Yeah, I think this is a real threat. I think it's bad.
Yeah.
But, kids have done stupid things for years. And I just really wonder whether this is as big of a deal as what it is. I mean,
stupid
kids,
things
really?
I know it can lump this into like smoking a cigarette in the back parking lot of the school.
Doing gangs.
This is
tell those mothers and fathers who are up in Minneapolis, St. Paul, where they've been recruiting to the point where they say it's a real problem on the ground up there to keep these kids out of the hands of the terrorists. Let me finish.
No.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I live in Bergen County, New Jersey. There's a warning right now for these police officers to go high school to tell these kids, to teach them not to join ISIS. You think they're just doing that to waste their own time? Because I don't.
No, I don't. Listen, I just wonder whether this is as big of a deal as we're making it out to be. Listen, kids have done stupid things.
This is beyond a stupid thing. This is a deadly thing.
I know.
Charlie,
so gang violence.
Charlie, Rachel has 7 children. She knows how vulnerable children can be.
The kids are vulnerable to ISIS.
My kids aren't. Well, but let me say this. I think there's a real threat, and I think we have to think about what would inspire, what's happening in the culture that would actually make this seem attractive. And I've thought about it a lot. And I think that what's happening is that, think about, there's not very much assimilation. And then once kids go to school, we have removed any kind of positive celebration of our culture, of our founders. And so there's this vacuum. And so when someone comes in and says, and believe me, these kids from elementary to secondary to college, they're buying into this multicultural, we're the imperialists, we're the bad guys. And so we have created a system that doesn't reinforce and make people belong to this country.
But not only that, we refuse to educate the culture here at home on who the enemy is. We won't even address that it's radical Islam. We won't even talk about radical Islam, the history of it, what drives them. And you know what else? We have magazines like Rolling Stone, which has zero credibility, that are putting the Boston bomber on like he's some kind of rock god.
Does multicultural force Italian-American men to join?
Let me finish. I would love to believe you, but I would rather trust James Comey's FBI report.
Sure it is. They prick the finger and they say
it is not an ideology.
The FBI director said there's hundreds of thousands of terrorist lone wolf living among us. This came out in a memo 2 weeks ago.
It's a criminal problem. I don't think you blame that on
it's a criminal problem.
Remember what the president said about the terrorists abroad and why these young people turn. He said that it was about jobs and the economy. So if that's true about that over there, what about the country right here where we don't have enough to put our young men and women to work? Okay? Let's just drop that mic for a second and talk about that. If the White House really thinks that that's an answer, then they've got a way to fight this.
But you can't fight.
You can't stronger ground on the economic standpoint. I mean, I think
can't fight something with nothing. And the answer to that empty ideology, that anti-American, anti-Western ideology, is an ideology here, or a culture here, that reinforces these ideas and these ideals that are American and bring prosperity and bring freedom and all those things.
The recruitment capabilities are proving effective. They're in our own backyards, in Harris's backyard, clearly.
I'm sure they're around, but
But they need to also put pressure on these companies the same way they do to shut down child pornography with free speech. ISIS has Twitter accounts, they have Facebook accounts, there's already current law in the book and Supreme Court precedent. They could shut down, let me finish, they could shut down these accounts and keep them from recruiting more American young people like they did in Garland,
Texas. You can't shut down ideas. Child pornography is not an idea, it's an action. You
can shut down certain aspects of free speech because terrorists don't get free speech.
All right. You've got to go, guys.
Ask the Supreme Court.
House Speaker John Boehner blasting the Obama administration for the near complete lack of accountability for the shameful care given to our veterans 1 year after the massive scandal was exposed. Many asking if the problems have even been fixed. Plus, another body-shaming controversy making headlines. One mom fighting back over her son's school pool party. The permission slip ordering all girls to wear a non-white T-shirt over their swimsuit. And right after the show, catch more from the couch on the web. Join us for Outnumbered Overtime by logging on to foxnews.com/outnumbered. Click on the Overtime tab. Tweet us your questions, comments, tell us what topics you want to hear more about. It's already heated on this.